As far as horrific visions are concerned, I hate Stormwind, and I'm sure that I'm not the only one. However, I'm pretty sure that I might be the only one who will tell you exactly why I hate it so much. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Gyro. Please, nothing personal in case you love Stormwind. To get the very obvious disclaimer out of the way, my opinion is highly subjective and it's an opinion of a casual player who mostly spends his time in horrific visions on different outs. I hate Stormwind, and in this video I will tell you a few reasons why to make this complaint a little bit more specific. Well, first of all, it's the whole architecture and geometry of levels. Levels, you ask? Well, levels, it's just a simplified term that I thought would be appropriate to use here when I talk about the isolated individual areas of the map where individual mini-bosses are. So you clear them to get your extra chest. That's a level for me. So the way these levels or areas, individual areas of Stormwind are laid out compared to Orgrimmar, in my opinion, are much worse. I absolutely hate it. I do not have claustrophobia or something like this that would be diagnosed at a clinical level, but I do feel like the areas are a lot more enclosed, and I do feel like the congregations of mobs are a lot more inconvenient, or put simply, just annoying. There are turns everywhere, there are narrow pathways everywhere, and honorable mention here goes to Mage District of Stormwind, which has the most horribly convoluted layout. And yes, you can get used to anything, but it doesn't make it good suddenly, does it? It's a horribly convoluted layout where you need to run through buildings to get to the portals that you need to disable, and it is really confronting, especially for players who try to do it casually, and I am, even as a person who has been there many times, and I will not say that I can traverse it with my eyes closed, but I still know and feel it every single time, especially when we compare it to Orgrimmar, and we kind of have to. Point number 2 of why I hate Stormwind so much are the default madnesses, let's call them. Of course, I understand that the system of madnesses is RNG based, so it's kind of random. We kind of don't know exactly if there will be leaden feet or if there will be split personality this week. However, I'd say default madnesses, and by that I mean something that we expect to see in Stormwind or expect to see in Orgrimmar. In Orgrimmar, by default, I expect to see, for example, those crawly insects on you. You just jump a couple of times and they go away. Is it annoying? Yes. Is it as annoying as the default leaden feet in Matthias Shore District? Well, no, nowhere near as annoying and nowhere near as dangerous. So these default madnesses, without wearing Mask of the Pained, of course, which kind of levels the playing field a bit and pours all of these annoying madnesses into one at any point in time, I think that default madnesses of Stormwind are horribly a lot more annoying than those of Orgrimmar. And yes, like I already said, the most honorable mention here in this point goes to the home of Leaden Feet, which is the home of Matthias Shore. The third point worth mentioning here, as far as my hate towards Horrific Vision of Stormwind is concerned, are the mobs. First of all, the mobs are just horrible in Stormwind. There are too many eye stalks. These eye stalks are everywhere. They even put them on transitional bridges between the areas, which is not something that you see in Orgrimmar. Yes, there is a random patrol that goes between the main area of Orgrimmar and the drag. However, that feels like nothing compared to those annoying eye stalks, especially if you leave them alone and they start channeling that damage into you and shut you down, especially with masks on. That damage ramps up a lot, and you're dead before you know it. Too many eye stalks. Patrolling mini boss, the toy seller, outside of Matthias Shore's district. That guy, I have a special video on. Not gonna embed here the video in this one, but if you're really interested to talk and to have a look at what I'm complaining about here, just browse my channel, take a look. A few weeks back I was talking about the most annoying mob in Stormwind. That's what you need to look for, and it will tell you about that patrolling stealthy. I know that there are some rares, if you like, some extra rare mini bosses in Orgrimmar as well, but as far as I'm concerned, and from all the normal trodden paths that I've taken in Orgrimmar, around Orgrimmar, those randoms, there is just one really, Bwamba or Bwambi, whatever she's called. She is in the Valley of Spirits and she's to the side, she's not patrolling, you can only be knocked into her, or if you run around like a crazy chicken, then you might just pull her. But she is not someone who is actively dangerous or patrolling for that matter. This guy, however, the toy seller, he is patrolling, and I see him frequently, and if you, God forbid, are charging through, for example on a death knight, or like leaping with the heroic leaps of a warrior, or doing anything that resembles any form of aggression, or for example if you have that pulsating damage, the AoE damage that kind of works in your favor, but if you have that madness basically on you, whatever it's called, can't remember what it's called, and you didn't time your pass by the toy seller very well, that damage that you didn't intend to inflict is going to pull him, and that will slow down. It might not kill you, but it will kill you through draining your sanity, because he will slow you down. He's very, very annoying, that mob, very annoying. And honorable mention here goes to the horrendous population of annoying mobs, those little aberrations around the mage district. Those spawn seemingly out of nowhere, they're everywhere, they keep coming out of the portals. If you just slow down and not dispatch of them quickly enough, if your item level is a bit low, if you're just trying to find your way through the damn place, then they will keep you in combat. You will not be able to spawn an orb in the right time and you might be in trouble. There are difficult moments like this in Orgrimmar, but nowhere near this level. It is just horrible. And the mother of them all is that big aberration whose name I forgot right now, who is wandering around Umbric's tower. It's like an extra mini boss of the area. Yes, defeating it gives you some sanity back, but the fight itself, especially when Leaden Feet stops you in the tracks and it starts channeling the, the sanity draining beam, whatever it's called, on you, it is just, it just takes me back. As I'm recording this narration, guys, it just takes me back. This is horrible. Hate it with a passion. Next point worth hating in Stormwind, Horrific Vision of Stormwind, are the mini bosses themselves. Dwarven district has that dwarf whose name nobody remembers, I don't at least, and he seems okay to me. I actually don't have a problem with him. Problems start with Matthias Shaw, especially if you're not particularly prepared or you are kind of a fresh vision runner. While you can brute force your way or rely on your common sense kind of with, let's say, with bosses of Orgrimmar, I would argue that Matthias Shaw and how he spawns the eyes, the draining insanity eyes, it becomes the first problem for you. Plus he is fairly tough and he dishes out substantial amount of damage, so he can be an issue. He's the first issue. Inquisitor Dark Speak in the, I believe, the trade district, if I'm not mistaken, he just simply seems unavoidable to me, unless there is some trick that I'm missing. There are no obstacles, there is nothing that you can do to prevent the amount of channel damage that he does in your face. You cannot interrupt it, and there is nowhere to hide, really. So you have to just deal with him as fast as you can. He is really annoying. I died to him many times. I lost sanity to him. I simply died to damage to him until I started using Ghastly Goulash a lot more often. Slave Master Ulrok, who is the friend of Inquisitor Darkspeak in the same district, is okay. He is a bit annoying, but largely okay. And yeah, and then there is obviously Magister Umbric. And Magister Umbric is not an issue for me now because I learned how to deal with him. But again, if we use that as an excuse, if we say, oh, it's not a problem as soon as you learn the layout around Mage District Knight. Oh, it's not a problem when you learn how to deal with Magister Umbric. Guys, it's not about this. It's about honestly sharing with you why I hate Stormwind, because when compared one-to-one to similar mechanics that I encounter around Orgrimmar, that I also can learn or circumvent, we will talk about this in a second, but Stormwind is hands down a lot more annoying. Plain and simple. Now, speaking about circumventing, fancy word, means skip. There are no major stealth-based skips, or not even stealth-based, but just no major skips available to you in Stormwind. Plain and simple. And there is a wonderfully skippable area in Rexxar area of Orgrimmar. That's basically, I mean, look, you cannot avoid the boss, you cannot avoid Rexxar, but if you're a stealthy, you can just stealth past all the mobs as long as you know the right path. If you're not as stealthy but have been watching my videos, especially recent videos, because I discovered this skip recently, but it's been depicted in all of my recent Orgrimmar clears videos, it's the shadow, it's the left, as I refer to it, left shadow wall walk. As you come into the area where Rexxar is, you turn left and you go along the shadowy waterfally hop 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 rocks there. It's a wonderful, completely legit skip because it drains a lot of your health, but it still allows you to skip heaps of those annoying mobs. That will slow you, drain your sanity, and basically make the whole run a lot harder of Orgrimmar. Does the fact that I hate Stormwind, is it just associated with the fact that Orgrimmar is easier because of skips like that? Well, not really. We just talk about annoyances as well, right? So it's just about annoying mechanics, but skips like this help you feel a little bit more like you have an upper hand. It's a challenge, but you still have an upper hand in Orgrimmar, at least you feel that way. In Stormwind you don't. And to me, it's annoying, and annoyance kind of drains the fun. That's all I'm trying to say. So Stormwind doesn't have skips. It is very annoying. Finally, I hate Stormwind because of the end boss, Alleria. Alleria is a pain for melee classes that need to stay close to her. It's a particular pain for non-pet classes, even if you're a ranged class, because you cannot have constantly a pet scratching her while you have to run around like a headless chicken, hide behind the columns. And overall, just this reliance of you needing to line of sight her all the time just to get her closer to you, or just to avoid her constant mechanics, the fire under your feet, the void circles, the barrage of those shadowy shots that she's doing and everything. Just that makes it so much more challenging compared to Thrall. Thrall is not a pushover when you're doing full clears, especially when he inherits the pigs of Rexxar. That sounds weird, but that's the only challenging, really challenging, I think, ability that can cause you trouble, because they start stunning you, they add quite a bit of damage. So if you don't get rid of Rexxar's pets that Thrall inherits as an end boss of Orgrimmar, you're going to be in trouble too. But that's the only bad ability, it's the only challenging mechanic, in my opinion, that Thrall inherits compared to Alleria. Alleria inherits polymorph, and Alleria inherits the chains of slavery, or whatever they're called, that stun you. Alleria inherits all the bombs that make you run constantly and hide behind the pillars. And Alleria generally is a ranged class, obviously, as a huntress, and she makes you run and hide all the time. I just don't enjoy that mechanics. That's why I subjectively hate Stormwind. Let me know what you think about this little vent to you guys. What was my intent? Well, my intent was to vent. My intent was to tell you how I feel about Stormwind, and if somehow this is a feedback that reaches some people who are connected to developers of World of Warcraft, and they can take it as a feedback and perhaps consider not making encounters as annoying, that's a very long shot letter to Santa type of expression of my hope, but take it for what it is. I just wanted to vent to you and tell you practically, factually, why I find Stormwind harder and annoying and why I hate it. Let me know how you feel about this. We don't have to agree on this, as long as we're having fun running both Stormwind and Orgrimmar. Having fun is the most important thing, guys. Subscribe if you haven't already, and if you enjoyed this narrative, and if you would like more videos from me. I really appreciate your support. You don't have to agree with me to appreciate you. I do anyway. Talk to you soon. Bye bye.